And a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. It's like I go to stream and everything decides to need to have an update. It's wild. Speaking of updates, I'm gonna do something that's not an update at all. Plugging my phone in. Alrighty, ready. Apparently, there is an achievement for standing on a penny farthing for 10 seconds. I forgot what that was. Let's go ahead and load the game up and see which mission that is, because I forget. Boop. Ba-da, ba-da. I think my phone is dying or something. Penny farthing, penny farthing. Is it a vehicle? Oh, it's this thing. You know what? I'm kind of curious what happens if you go back into free play and you try to do something else. Do you get paid for it? Is it just like, what is it? Yay! Okay, so you do get paid paid for it. Goodness. That's good to know. So if I go back to specials, not specials. I really gotta stop eating right before I stream. Okay, so what happens if I just like go back to bonus jobs? Will I still only be 5% on the bicycle? Apparently so. Interesting. if I restart it and then I just leave before I do anything? Okay, so it keeps it at 0% regardless. That's a little annoying. So we got an achievement. That's good. Yeah, we'll stick to the 15-degree nozzle. Oh, I have access to all of them. That should make this quick. Okay, that's done. Let's go back to our career and the bonus jobs. Gnome fountain. And unfortunately, we have to go back to the previous one. The Urban X Power Washer. Which honestly kind of looks like a vacuum. And now that we're done with experimentation, it is time for me to get closer to the mic. Blah. Sometimes to get closer, you have to quack like a duck. You know, it would be pretty cool if there was a mission in this game, basically like this one, where you had to use your power washer to fill the fountain up. Another cool concept is you had to clean it, but as you clean the inside, it filled with water. So you had to make sure you cleaned it out before you filled it up with water. Otherwise, it would still be dirty, but the fountain would be full. go ahead and get this little inner part here. That's a light. Okay then. I was starting to wonder why there was only a donut in the middle of the pool. Just sitting there by its lonesome. As it turns out, it was not a donut. It was a light snack. I'm not apologizing for that pun either. You know, I just realized something. Washiwa from Undertale would definitely love this game. The little turtle that has like a washing machine on its back. That guy. You know what? In my head canon, these are gonna be donuts. Because it just fits. Or would they be bagels? Hold on a second. I just realized something. Donuts are just cake bagels. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, now for the real question. I think these little ramps, they're called cascades, but these ramps, they should be a separate entity. Yep. Let's go back and clean the others off. Boop, 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 boop. What's up, Fabu? That's basically what I'm doing. Hello, hello. Hola, hola. Bonjour, bonjour. Saying hello, hello twice in a row in other languages does not sound the same. It only works for English. Also, there is a word that you can say twice that works really well, especially with Gen Z. Womp womp. Of course, what you're referencing and who you're referencing depends on how you say it, too. Okay, Skibbity can go die in a toilet, okay? Is that my honest opinion? Yes, yes. Reminds me of the time we cleaned a toilet in this game. Actually, I think we cleaned a few toilets. They're annoying. What, you mean the visual ASMR videos? Or games? Yeah. They're appealing to me as well. They'd be more appealing if there was a banana. Because then you could peel the banana. And then it would be appealing. I just like seeing the disgusting, coagulated blood looking, rust looking, destroyed oil looking, your car just got an oil change all over the place, going away because you sprayed it with water. I'm watering my oil change, and this is the result. Also, I looked up how to do an oil change. It's not that hard. Unless you're driving a Lamborghini, those apparently have 6 drain plugs. Did you know that? And some are right by the transmission fluid. So if you pull the wrong plug, you're draining your whole transmission and you have to refill it. So it's like, bro. Random knowledge with Shira. Sometimes you'll walk away just knowing a little bit more than you did before. And you know what? If I can bring knowledge to the masses, all the better. I'm kind of like a teacher. But wonky and weird and quirky. Very quirky. And I look at people with horns and call them Clorox people, so I have the right to call myself that. Yeah, I don't know which Lamborghini it is, but it's a modern one. So anyway, I am currently watering my fountain, as you do. Gotta make sure it grows up nice and healthy. Yes, yes I am. A very gnomish watering fountain. I don't know why it has such a gnomey feature, or theme. But I am watering a water fountain. It even sounds like it with the 25-degree. I wonder if the 40 sounds like more of a watering can. Oh yeah, this sounds like I'm actually watering it. Also, the algae's not coming off. Gotta stick with the 25 at least. I don't mind saying that I'm struggling to find the motivation to come to work. Hi, Park Warden, I missed your text messages. But if I knew I was coming into a brand new deluxe marble keeper's lodge, possibly even the finest side of the detergento. Yeah? I forgot that was a location in this game. Detergento. Not gonna lie, it kind of sounds like a soap-based cheese. And I don't know how I feel about that. Now I'm just imagining, like, someone throwing a ball of mozzarella in before the wash. Like they're gonna wash their clothes and instead of detergent, they just throw in a ball of mozzarella. I imagine Chester Cheetah does that. Or something similar. Hey, it ain't easy being cheesy. Apparently I forgot how to English for a second there. You know what else isn't easy? Achieving a low sodium diet. See, if I was actually a professor, I wouldn't mind being called professor, but here's the problem. I'm kind of a dumb blonde, so... Yeah. I am the professor of sometimes good ideas and sometimes not good ideas. It really all depends on the day of the week. Welcome to you too. Yeah, sometimes. See, I like to think I'm smart, but I do have my dumb moments. They're hit or miss, but they're sometimes there. Sometimes I'm smart, sometimes I'm not. I like to think it's based on how much sleep I get. But really, it all depends on if my brain feels like working that day. I would say I'm sleeping well. I mean, that's why I have plushies. To sleep pretty well. They're very soft and very fluffy. And fuzzy. I imagine that's what sweet dreams are made of, and who am I to disagree? I've got cat plushies, axolotl plushies, uh, catsolotl plushies, which is a cat plus an axolotl, by the way. I've got a fox plushie. No, wait, red panda. My bad. Red pandas do not look like pandas. But oh my goodness, they're adorable. I got a snake plushie, a cat, a giraffe, an indescript creature, another indescript creature, another axolotl, another axolotl, another cat, and I think a crab? A very fat crab. Fat but small. Kind of like an oxymoron. He's cool. I call him crab cake. They're all very fluffy. I do like them. Imagine if I just had a stream where I was talking to y'all and I had all my plushies on screen making their debut. Imagine if I all gave them like voices. Imagine if I had AI voice all of them and I gave one a French accent. Another one gets a Russian accent. The cat gets a Spanish one because Puss in Boots. I am just full of good ideas, aren't I? It would be a plushie party. A plushie party with a universal invitation. Also, I did a dum-dum that ended up being a funny. I changed the indicator color for anything that I missed that's dirt. And it's kind of gross when you look at the gnomes because when I activate it, it looks like they got coomed on. Especially if I'm not done cleaning them yet. But it's hilarious, so we're keeping it. I swear, the more that I play this game, the more that I realize how much of a masterpiece it actually is. deep rock. But more gnomes, less dwarves. Which, if you think about it, they're almost the same thing, except gnomes are basically elf dwarves. So, you're welcome for that idea. Elf dwarves that have a, at least in 5th edition D&D, an aversion to vowels. Because one of the feats is called, like, Neferbleben magic or something, and I don't know how to pronounce it. Because it's all consonants. So if I ever take that feat, I'm just going to call it something different every time, because I'm not going to remember what it's called. Behold, my gnome took the feat, sniffing blubber magic. I mean, you could look it up. I don't know how it's pronounced, but it's something to that effect. Oh, good lordy. Am I seriously going to be stuck just cleaning off the residue of stuff I've already cleaned off? You know, the white marks kind of look like a mix between Coom and Spiderweb, so it looks like Spider-Man just nutted all over the place. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Makes power washing a tiring job. you imagine the thumbnail for this video when it gets uploaded to YouTube? I just put in it that I talked about how donuts are just bagel cakes and then Spider-Man jorking it on a fountain. Hashtag not clickbait. Hashtag live reaction. Oh, this is sectioned off. Okay. Cool. So we just have to unkumify the sections of the fountain then. How many freaking sections are there? Whitey accidentally poisoned his wife. What comic is that? That is wild. I feel like that's fan-made, though. There's no way that would be greenlit by Marvel. Rain these nuts, am I right? Hey, Maya. Doing pretty good. I have a root beer. We're talking about bagel cakes and Spider-Man nuts. So, it's a good time. Yo, that comic must have gotten Stan Lee, like, absolutely plastered. Can you imagine being, like, Stan Lee and having to read that? You're just at your table trying to greenlit a comic, and you're like, Jack Kirby, your name is Jack Kirby, not Jack Off Kirby. Come on. Sometimes I wonder how certain comics get greenlit. Like, the superheroes that are parodies of another one. Like how Deadpool is a parody of Deathstroke. Lobo is a parody of, I think, like, your typical 80s, superheroes that are super buff and stuff. Like, who comes up with these ideas? You have to either be higher than the Beatles in 1968, or you have to, like, be mentally insane to, come up with these ideas for characters. We all live in a yellow submarine. Yellow submarine. Yellow submarine. Yo, if Lobo is in the upcoming Supergirl movie, I am going to watch it for that one reason alone. They better put him in the teaser trailer, too. Who do I think should play him? Well, if if we rewound the clock, try saying that 5 times fast, I would say one of the members from Kiss, the band. But seeing as how that band is probably hitting their 60s by now, I would say... Huh. Hmm. That's a good question. I don't know that many actors. I would say whoever the guy is that played Paul Blart, Mall Cop. But like after he worked out. Now you want to talk about a funny casting? Imagine if you had Christopher Walken play Lobo. Just random pauses in between his words. Like, can you imagine Lobo saying, "You're a bitch"? Like, it takes all of the edgy, like, toughness out of the equation and just makes it funny. Mall Cop was good. I agree. Yeah, my phone was going off. I'll have to check my phone here in a second, make sure that wasn't an important phone call. Was it important? Was it not? I don't know. I'm just power washing a fountain. Can you believe that I haven't seen the Polar Express? And if I have, it was so long ago, I don't remember the plot of the movie. It's been so long, I nearly called it the Christmas Express. And that just sounds like a really good iced coffee. They really should have given me a bigger washer for this. Well, you see, Fabu, that is not Christopher Walken. That's Christopher Gallopin. Oop. So let me check this text message real quick, make sure it's not important. Okay, it's just family updates. Not that important. I couldn't help noticing the fountain seems covered in a illustrious variety of moss, lichen, and algae. Three of my favorite things to find on a wall. That's cool, Park Warden. We're talking about Christopher Walken. Naturally, moss sits on the throne, lichen second, algae third, although I still have time for algae. Earl does too. Sometimes I see him have a nibble as he passes the restrooms. Where does moss stand here? Least favorite thing to find on a wall? Graffiti! Agreed. Lol. Park Warden does seem pretty chill, not gonna lie. Though still fun to poke fun at him every once in a while. Like, how does algae get on the wall? Why is it on the wall? Why is he so fond of algae being on walls? You know what my favorite thing to find on a wall is? A wall. Just imagining the park warden looks like the warden from Minecraft. So I'm just imagining a giant, like, monster coming out and being like, algae is the best, and then he kills me. There's your new indie horror game. I demand 10% of the sales for that idea. is this fountain so big? Hey, I'm always full of epic ideas. It's just... the ideas span throughout the course of an entire stream. And normally they only really pop up when I have someone to bounce them off of, like you, so... The longer you stay, the more ideas you get. So the idea is the park warden horror indie that I just thought of. The park warden is basically a construct made of moss and algae. And he throws piranhas at you. Or something. And you get certain power-ups that allow you to escape him easier. But kind of like Mr. X from Resident Evil 2, if he finds you, he chases after you. But you can hear him moving around because he makes, like, very moist, wet noises. Which adds to the disgusting factor, because no one likes the sound of moistness. So, yeah. Bonus points if it's pixelated, too. That's where I'm going to be browsing my feed in, like, a year from now, and I'm just going to see that idea come to life. Game Theory is going to cover it. Gonna get a bunch of sales. I'm gonna be semi-upset, but also somewhat proud. Yeah, right, it's gonna have its own fandom. Its own subreddit. Its own merch that you're gonna find at Walmart at a discounted clearance price. In the kids section. Next to Garden of Bam Bam. Markiplier is gonna play it. Hi, Azza. I'm stopping by to say hello because I'm sleepy. I hope you have fun and enjoy yourself. I'm leaving your broadcast live on the P. Thanks for leaving it on the P. Please make sure before you go to bed you do that too. Otherwise you'll wake up. I thought you meant PC. Well, thank you. I will be here washing stuff with water. Yep. Oh boy. You know what? Let's go ahead and clear the floor off. And get the plinth fountain. Thank you for the head hat. I see you more cheerful or happy. Did something happen? I had a good dinner. It was spicy, but delicious. Also, welcome, Arion. Hola. Every time I say hola, I think of Ganon and his and the cover of Suavemente. At some point, that's just gonna be a sound that I play on demand because that's just funny. Yo no hablo español. I believe the word for also is también. Possibly. Sí, bueno. The chat's kind of like a melting pot of different, people. And you know what the best part about that is? It's like a delicious salad. You got a little bit of everything. This implies, thank you for the head pats, by the way, that I'm going to eat everyone. So, do what you will with that. Have fun brushing stuff. Hopefully one of them is your teeth. Take good care of your dentals, okay, everyone? Because if you don't take care of your teeth, you can get sepsis. And that's a very, very serious condition, which is basically your blood is poisonous. And that's not good. So brush your teeth, please. Also, gingivitis is actually kind of deadly. Something a hamburger in the cafeteria. Oh, you translated it for me. I had a hamburger at the That sounds good. I'm not the biggest fan of beef, though. Sometimes I'll have hankering for it, but normally I just like pasta and bread. I'm very basic. Like there's that whole song, "What would you do for a Klondike bar?" And it's like that's me, but replace Klondike bar with garlic bread. What kind of pasta y'all like? What kind of pasta do I not like? Probably the gross types. What's gross? I don't know. Feed me and I'll tell you. Meatless lasagna would be pretty good. Very filling, though. Hold on, I'm coming up with a recipe idea. Lasagna. But instead of pasta, it's garlic bread. I'll have to cook on this a little bit more. Pun not intended, by the way. I mean, a lot of my dishes are like, apparently they're not supposed to work because of what I do, but they do anyway, and they're pretty good. Like the one time I was making like ramen, shrimp. I call it a stir fry, but apparently it's not a stir fry. It's just a something. And one time I was out of a lot of ingredients, so I was like, screw it. And I added chocolate sauce, and it actually worked pretty well. I gave what I did to a friend of mine who knows how to cook, and he was appalled. He called it a culinary, like, sin. And I'm just like, no one else complained. It's technically a thing, but the same type of chocolate syrup that you add to, like, to make chocolate milk. That's another level of creative that I entered and somehow did really well with. According to Persona 5, you can add chocolate to curry and it works really, really well. So I don't know how you would go about that. Do you just, like, add chocolate bars, chocolate syrup, cocoa powder, chocolate extract? Oh boy, we're going to 15, aren't we? Yeah, probably chocolate bars, but then it's like, which one do you go with? Do you go with dark chocolate? Do you go with Hershey's? Do you go with, like, Garveldi or whatever it's called? Is there a specific brand or a specific type? I think if I stay awake any longer, I'll start seeing fish flying. That's an interesting hallucination. Let me know how that goes for you. I literally do not know how chocolate is said in Spanish. And if it's chocolate, I will be very, very much disappointed in myself. But I doubt it's that. Oh, so then I said it. I'm disappointed in myself. I should have known that. One of these days, I'm going to start speaking in Japanese and have you try to say stuff. And in the foot, it's gonna be on the opposite boot or whatever the saying is. Am I learning Japanese? No, I'm not. But I know a few words and a few phrases, so... I can fake people out for a little bit. I also know like 2 phrases in Korean, so there's that too. You know what? Curse this darned graffiti. Have a good night, Asa. I will see you later. Whenever you wake up. This implies I'm gonna sneak into your house. I'm not, I promise. But go rest. So what you're telling me, Fabu, is that you're Kenshiro. I'm pretty sure Ken in Japanese means fist. But I could be wrong. Am I afraid of dogs and cats? Absolutely not. I love both. It just sucks that I'm allergic to one of them. You ever just develop an allergy to one of your favorite animals ever? Because let me tell you right now, it sucks. What animal am I allergic to? Cats. And it sucks because they're adorable little fuzzballs and I can't be around them. Or I start sneezing like I have a nose issue. And it sucks. For a second, I literally thought you meant Lucifer the devil and not that you had a cat named Lucifer. You should have named him Lucifer. Get it? Instead of F-E-R, it's F-U-R-R. If I were you, I would have just called him Furball. Because that's hilarious. Yeah, buenos nachos to you as well. And have a good night. And sleep well. I figured that's what she meant. Go sleep before you become delirious. Yeah, why is graffiti so difficult to get up? Oh, this is the medium one, that's why. Think you meant to say adieu. I almost wished you back, Adidas. I mean, to be fair, Adidas are not the worst shoes you could get. What the heck else is dirty? Oh, there we go. I am just knocking these out. One after another. Hold on. Let's get rid of the graffiti first, and then I'll switch nozzles. So, my headcanon is that we're using plant-based water. For those of you who have seen my Resident Evil 2 playthrough, I think it was 2. That sounds about right. can already tell I'm not living that joke down. I know I'm the one who brought it up, but it was still a funny slip of the tongue. Also, Fabu, why are you talking like a 40k orc? It's not a bad thing, it's just funny to me. Like next you're gonna post in the chat that you're that great green prophet. Well, there you have it. Fabucane's real identity is Wurzak. Everyone, Detective Shira is on the case. Never mind, I already solved it. Because I am secretly Batman! And nobody knows Batman's true identity. Ba, 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 ba. I just said that I'm Batman. That doesn't prove anything. For all you know, am I the Batman of the DC world, where the real name is Bruce Wayne? Or am I an alternate Batman, like the Spider-Verse, and how there's different Spider-Mans, but there's different Batmans. So, maybe there's a Batman called Herkenschukkel or something, and I could be that one, or another one. You don't know. My identity will forever be a secret. For I am Batshira. Hero of bearing false witness. was a bunch of nut all over that side. Okay. Spray, spray away. How the heck is this fountain not at least a little bit filled? Like, seriously. Okay, then. You ever just stand back away a little bit so you could wash the butt of a lower column flourish? Because that's effectively what I did. Also, that sounds like an insult. Just call someone a butt washer. I don't know how well that's actually going to work as an insult, but I imagine it's pretty funny. Unless they're a nurse technician, then that they get paid to do that. Pretty good money, too. So, if you try to use that insult against a nurse, just know they're probably going to retort with, and I still make more than you, and then you're going to get burned. And then they're not going to treat that burn, and you will suffer from burnitis, which is a tragic inflammation of the burn area. I wear a lot of hats, don't I? I wear the bunny hat. I'm also apparently a nurse now. Actually not. A detective. A Batman. I say that like Batman is a common profession. Okay, how am I getting up here? Oh, that's how. Well. I like how dirt streaks are red. Now watch as the blaster magically blasts away all of the dirt streaks and grime and moss from the walls. Like magic. But also not magic. It is science. Why is my eyebrow so itchy? I guess this is how we're gonna be cleaning most of the downside, the underside of these areas. Is jumping on the flourishes and just blasting away. Kind of like I'm the Human Torch, but instead of water, I am cleansing this fountain in holy water. Gotta say, that's one heck of a fountain. Looks like that Keeper's Lodge idea is dead in the water. Oh well. Say, what do you think of the square footage of this thing is once filled? I think it is yes square footage. I might be getting myself another little idea here. What's that? I feel like Mr. Park Warden McGee over here is going to turn it into, like, a house. He is the fountain gremlin. You know, the funny part is I technically don't even need the ladder. I could just hop up from here. Like that. Could I get to the top without a ladder? Oh my goodness, I could! Hi, Mr. Gnome. Bye, Mr. Gnome. My gloves are filthy, so we're switching into the octopus. well done. I took a root beer out and never even drank it. That's what I was tasting. It says root beer butterscotch on it, and I was like, why is there a vanilla taste to it? Turns out vanilla and butterscotch taste similar to me. Weird. I feel like this one is angled differently. Or that gnome is just throwing me off really hard. No, this flourish is definitely a little bit weirdly angled. Yeah, that section over there definitely feels a little different than the one over here. It feels like it's closer to the wall. Did you know that water is only bad when you breathe it? Actually, correction, a little bit is actually good for you. You know, in the form of humidity. Get scienced! Rawr! Also, hi, Chad. I mean, you're probably right. There is that ongoing joke where femboys and Monster Energy are associated with each other. And if you know anything about energy drinks, they dehydrate you because of the caffeine. So that kind of checks out a little bit, actually. I don't know. I haven't tried them all. To be honest, it'd be best if, they had these little snap-on, caps, so you don't waste it. And I could put those on the top of cans. So I'd want to get, like, a ton of flavors and see which one I like the most. Because I typically don't drink Monsters at all. But the juices are pretty good. Personally, I prefer gamer subs over Monster. And I like not having sugar overdoses, quote unquote. I am good. How are you doing? Good but sleepy. I am rapidly getting tired. I never thought I would say this, but it's apropos. Gnome upskirt. You're welcome. My day was semi-interesting. Sorta, kinda. I was supposed to have an interview, and I showed up in the online meeting for the interview, and the other person who was supposed to interview me never showed up. So I sent them an email and took a nap. And I never got a reply. It is kind of crazy. I don't want to blame the person because they probably had like a really busy day. But at the same time, it's like, I put on a shirt for this interview, and you didn't even show up. What the heck? Okay, then. But yeah, I put on a whole shirt for the interview, and they never showed up on the online meeting, and it's just like, why am I wearing a shirt if you're not going to show up? So anyway, after I sent that email, I got back in my nightgown and just kind of like potatoed at home. And now here we are. To be fair, it's not the end of the world. The position seemed a little bit sketch. Like, they had business licenses and everything, but it seemed like everything was hastily put together in a last-minute ditch effort. So I wasn't exactly scrambling to get hired for it anyway. So a lot of it was like figuring stuff out, and that's literally been what I've been professionally doing for like the last 3 years. So it's like I would have been perfect, honestly, but it's whatever. Not gonna lose sleep over that, otherwise I'd be tired. And being tired is not good. So take these words of wisdom with you. Don't be tired. Live stress-free. Because if you're stressed, you'll handle us. If you're stressed and you don't sleep, it becomes kind of like a seesaw effect, I guess, where you don't get a lot of sleep, so you wake up cranky, and then you handle stress a little bit worse, and then you get more stressed, and then you sleep even worse, and then you handle stress even less better because you're even more tired, and it goes back and forth until you're just a stressed, tired mess. So if you're a stressed, tired mess, take a shower, eat a pizza. Not in that order. The opposite order, actually. In case you get any pizza oil on yourself. Eat a pizza, take a shower, sit down with a cup of hot cocoa. I know it's summer. I don't care. And relax. Watch a funny video. Sort your priorities in order. What you gotta do that's soon. What you gotta do that can wait a little bit. Finish your hot cocoa and knock them out. You'll feel better afterward. I promise. So the way I see it is, if you don't get hired for a job you know you're good at, it's really their loss. Just use it as an opportunity to think about what you did in the interview that was right and what you did that was wrong, and get better. You'll do even better next time. What's important is in interviews, don't be a robot. Because if you are, they're going to think that you're just a human personification of ChatGPT, and they're going to be like, no. So don't be ChatGPT, be a human. That reminds me of this video who there was a guy, and apparently he was answering the interviewer's questions using ChatGPT, and the interviewer started to catch on and asked him to share his screen right away to make sure he's not cheating. And the guy managed to close the ChatGPT screen very quickly. So again, don't be that guy. Ah, yeah, get washed. You spirally, snail-looking volute. I don't actually know what a volute is, but I'm assuming it has something to do with that, spiral-looking structure. Apparently, I just became Sean Connery. Shaken, not stirred. This implies an alternate universe where there is someone named Con Shonnery, and he says, stirred, not shaken. I just came up with an idea for my next D&D character. If I ever want to play spy archetype rogue, Con Shonnery. And despite his name being Con Shonnery, he excels at being honest. How about that? An honest rogue. But like I said earlier, I am quickly losing energy. So I might finish up these volutes in this whole like little column here, and then call it a night. Cause I got stuff to do in the morning, so yeah. It is mildly disturbing how many of those twerking giant butt dump truck booty GIF emojis exist. They should do one for Princess Peach from Super Smash Bros. Because her strongest attack, I think in Brawl at least, was her butt. Eh, would you look at that? You know what? We'll also get rid of, at least some of the scum here in the basin. Well, it's called the bowl, but like, tomato. Fun fact, I used to not like tomatoes. Now, as long as they're in a dish or they're in a sandwich, I'm okay with it. By themselves, still a bit of a pass. I'm also not the biggest fan of grapefruits either. Funny, in high school I knew someone who would come to English class and take out a whole grapefruit and just eat it in the middle of class, like randomly, unprovoked, unprompted. That girl didn't realize it, but she was aura farming so hard. Ding! Alrighty. I think that's good for now. We'll be able to finish this next time. You know what's weird? I hate mustard and onions, but if I get a McDonald's burger, I can eat it with both on it. That is kind of weird, but at the same time, I get where you're coming from. There are certain onions that I do like and certain onions I don't. Like the sweet onions or the red ones, pretty good. Your usual onions, if you don't like caramelize them, kind of gross. Mustard, I will literally like spit out anything with mustard in it. Unless it's honey mustard, then I can kind of like stomach it a little bit, but you gotta go light on it. I just really hate mustard. Which is funny because ketchup, which is basically its biggest compliment condiment. Say that 5 times fast. Compliment condiment. I put that on everything. It's just amazing. Ketchup is or catsup as it was originally called. It's just magical. So I get where you're coming from. If it's in a certain dish, certain condiments are good. But yeah, I'm gonna get some rest. Getting sleepy. If I go too much longer, I might actually fall asleep on stream here. I might just close my eyes and then I'll feel a little bit better. But it is going to take a good 30 to 60 minutes before I feel whatever better. That was a word. I swear. I want to check this shop real quick before I head off, though. I will happily get some gloves. Oh yeah, give me all the colors. And now I don't have enough for research edition. Bump bump. I will save up for that one. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, everyone. Especially everyone who's still here. Especially Maya inhaling her water. Or his water. I don't remember. Every time I see Maya, I think of the character from Ace Attorney. The one who was Phoenix Wright's mentor's little sister, I believe. Anyway, I'm gonna go get some rest. Thank you all for watching again. Can't thank you enough for popping in and saying hi and all that. This Sunday I should be good for Free Fantasio. I was busy last Sunday, so couldn't play it. But I'm gonna go close my eyes and I'll see all of you beautiful people later. Peace out, and I'll talk to you hopefully Sunday. Bye bye.